meet me at the corner of Russell and Albina, just about a block from Mississippi Avenue. I'll take you to a house where they hang carpets on the wall, and if we go there on a Sunday, there's a song I'll take you through.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Sunday evening and here at Open Mic America. I'm Chris Steele. I'm going to be your MC as well as one of your performers here this evening. Mike Simpson, also one of our performers here this evening, is going to be our interviewer, and Capo Dave Williams is our engineer and founder of this fantastic show. He's also the creator and builder of Dandy Hybrid Guitars, which you'll be hearing about a little bit later on. Our mission here at Open Mic America is to support your local open mics, where you can go in person to see songwriters performing their original music. And tonight, thanks to technology, we get to travel all around the country and see those same performers in their own living rooms. Without gimmicks and frills, this is the DNA of American music, a tapestry of story and song that has been weaving us together for generations. So now let's go ahead and meet our performers, and you can find links to their work on our website and also on this YouTube video. I'm Chris Steele from Newton, Massachusetts. We've got Tom Maynard from Thompson, Connecticut, Jon Burrowes from Philadelphia, Jason Baker from Burlington, Vermont, Mike Simpson from somewhere in California. I can't exactly remember where. It's fine.
Northern California.
There you go. Dan and Faith coming to us from New Hampshire. Joseph Isaacs from Columbia, Maryland, Glenn Marshall from Monroe, North Carolina, and Catharine Beck from Pasadena, California. So without ado, I'm going to have Mike go ahead and introduce me while I go ahead and get a pick.
All right, everybody out there in America and here on the show, I'd like to introduce our first performer and absolute stalwart staff member, Mr. Chris Steele. Chris, take it away.
Thanks very much, Mike. I've got two songs that I'm going to play for you here today. This is all stuff that's come out of February album writing month, so these are all brand new. This is Dutchtown. Head down to the old Dutch town if you want to get lost and not be found. Wondering why you don't come round since everything changed so fast. Found the middle up on 48. Something changed and you made a trade. Never know you had it so great till the present was the past. Put my feet down on Broadway, and maybe not now, but maybe someday. Not quite here, not now, but it still feels like we're down on Broadway. Lit it once and never went out. It was your life, now you live without. Never knew what it was all about, I just knew who you were. Took the 14T to the PA, whatever it was that took away. What you were I couldn't say, but I can still see you there. Met the boys but it's not the same, Dumbo just can't compete. A different Times Square, got clean but somehow incomplete. Turning back without a plan, finding out just where I am. Somehow it's smaller now than it was back then. Put my feet down on Broadway, maybe not now, but maybe someday. Not quite here, not now, but it still feels like we're down on Broadway. On Broadway. Thank you.
Very nice.
Very, very much. So for those of you that don't know what February album writing month it is, just this, a challenge, basically, to go ahead and try and write 14 songs over the 28 days of February. And you find yourself just inspired by all kinds of different things as you're just going through life. This was me on a train platform after coming back from the dentist. This is called the 526. Damn, is it cold on this platform? Each gust of wind, the coat tries to blow open. She's walked here today, I can see. This may be unusual, don't know, we've never spoken. She's carrying a bag that seems new. Not the bag, of course. Seems like it's been through plenty of trips before. But it still seems like something more seems askew. Just a bright Thursday morning on Framingham Worcester line, just something different, the border of change in life. It's the same but still different, it's not quite the same face she used to put out front. Faces are blank, but still carrying worry what she's leaving behind, or perhaps hopes to see. Off to South Station and grab a connection to anywhere else. I know, 'cause I've checked them. Off to New York, or perhaps to Chicago, maybe to Richmond, whatever do I know. Perhaps my own face might be giving away anything more than I intend to say. Nothing more than the shine of my shoes might be giving a voice to what I'm hoping to lose. Damn, it's still cold, the wind seems a bit brisker. I'm alone on the platform, I guess I won't see her. One of us made good on the schemes that we'd laid, of dreams against all the life that we made. Just a bright Tuesday morning on the Framingham Worcester line, probably on something different, past the border of changing life.
Yeah, great stuff.
Thank you.
Sweet. Awesome. Right. Chris Steele, you write good stuff, man.
Thank you very much, sir.
I noted on your website there was a comment there that struck home to me. Chris Steele is a songwriter with a storyteller's instinct. Do you agree with that? And if so, what is it that makes that true?
I wrote it, so yes. It is. I find myself really intrigued by looking at the world around me and then trying to be able to understand people's stories as I see them come in and out of the scenes. I try to empathize with the people around me and understand a little bit about what they're going through. And then in my songwriting, I try and give voice to what I think is going on.
All right. Well said. Well written in the first place. And you bounce around a lot of styles, right?
I do. I mean, I grew up in listening to, heck, in the household that I grew up in, we would be listening to everything from Neil Diamond to Joni Mitchell to Seals and Crofts to Bach to all kinds of different things. And then when I started really paying attention to music myself, I was listening to a lot of like Rush and Yes and Led Zeppelin and then Tom Petty. And then with all of the travel I've done across Canada, I've just been exposed to so many different musical styles. And I noticed that they all seem to have found some form of expression through my own writing as well.
Yeah. So I actually encountered you a good deal before you knew that. Because in right about 2021, this thing happened with everybody getting sick. And so I started going around and looking at websites of people and thinking about people to invite to this other open mic thing. And I saw your album, the one from 2021. How long have you been songwriting overall?
Jesus, since I was probably about 15 years old. And if you really want me to do that math, I'd prefer not to.
Yeah. So,
Let's just say that I'm
so a good 10
past
years
that.
then. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to keep these interviews short, I promised.
Yep.
And this is, that's it for yours.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. And
Nice
we'll be
work.
hearing a little bit more from Mike as we go into the show here. But right now, I'd like to shift gears a little bit, and I'd like to introduce a very, very dear friend of mine. This is Tom Maynard, who's coming to us from Thompson, Connecticut. And Tom likes to play at the Parish Center for Arts in Westford, Massachusetts, the Ellen Schmidt Open Mic in Boxborough, Massachusetts, Catbird Cafe virtual open mic, and you can also occasionally see him sometime before me or even on other times at Eagle's Nest Revisited, also online. Tom, over to you.
Thanks, Chris. So you were talking about the February album writing month, in which I took part in, sort of. I got a couple songs out of it, so I'm going to share those tonight. And before I start, though, I'd want to thank, this venue, everybody who works here, Capo Dave, Chris, yourself, Mike, Daphne, the whole crew for keeping this going, because the community for musicians need this community, and you guys are playing a vital role in keeping us going here. So thank you for that. This is called What We Have Done. Like the earth, like air and water, what we take for granted, all too soon gone. Mass extinctions, all things tainted, there's no escaping what we have done. Much hatred, no compassion, those in power know the strings to pull. When did caring for each other become a weakness? Fear has made us cruel. Walking out in the meadow, looking for a place to rest. There was nowhere that was not rotten. Our past misdeeds are left unredressed. There's no escaping have done.
Awesome, Tom.
Nice.
So quickly bring myself back in tune here. Give me just a quick second to get out of. There we go. So this is the other February album writing month song. This is called Field of Dreams. Morning light, shining bright, always dawns after dark of night. No matter how long the night seems, we will wake from the field of dreams. Day's last light fades from our sight, and we stumble through the night. We're left reaching for what it all means, the whys and wherefores of the field of dreams. The fading pieces, thoughts and feelings, all too soon they slip away. There is no use in grasping and clinging. What do they mean? What do they say? Do I care what the night has to say? Why do I strive so hard to hear the muses' voices, so often drowned out by a rushing wind and falling tears? Morning light, shining bright, quickly scatters the whispers of night. A bag of memory torn at the seams, tattered remnants of the field of dreams. No matter how long the night seems, we will wake from the field of dreams.
That's beautiful. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for that. Let's go ahead and hand you over to Mike, ask you a couple of questions.
All right. Tom,
Mike,
you write good stuff, man.
thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for sharing it with us. Hey, so I hit your website, musician, poet, wanderer. So I have a sort of a structured question here about that. How do those interact for you in your songwriting? Those three faces of who you are, and particularly, could you address how they show up in what we have done?
That's a really interesting question. I think that you know, as a songwriter, it's really important for me to take into account my experiences, and certainly I guess specifically for that particular song, we have an area out behind our house here in Connecticut that's Army Corps of Engineers land. And it has, there's a dam, West Thompson Dam, there's West Thompson Lake. And recently over the past few years, we've had some high waters that have pulled a lot of garbage, basically, downriver. It's the Quinnebog River. It feeds into the West Thompson Dam.
The past misdeeds. Huh?
Yeah, it was incredible how much flotsam and jetsam there was that gathered along the high water mark. And it's, I spent 6 months out on the Appalachian Trail, and even out in the most wild spaces, you're finding all these bits and pieces of things that shouldn't be there, So that's the wandering piece of it. That song was more inspired by the stories of like finding shopping bags at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and the microplastics that we know are in our cells now, and that kind of thing. So that's kind of where that came from.
Field of Dreams. So the obvious part of Field of Dreams is the notion that we're in this field of dreams, we're searching for meaning. But what I caught also in there, and you can correct me if I was in fact wrong, but it's searching for meaning within meaningful action, I take it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that part of what's going on in that is also how slippery and ephemeral, if you believe in the muse speaking to us through our dreams, it can be very, very difficult to capture it again after the fact. So I do believe that we are getting messages through our dreaming states. So it can be very, very frustrating to know there's something there, but you can't quite reach it, So that's sort of where that's coming from.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Tom, thanks once again for coming. I hope we'll see you again sometime fairly soon. And I'm going to hand you back to Chris Steele.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much. And thanks, Tom, and thanks, Mike. So coming up next, we're going to move down to Pennsylvania. Jon Burrowes is going to be joining us from Philadelphia. And Jon enjoys playing here, of course, at Open Mic America. We do try and make it enjoyable for all. Music Matters Showcase, Steel City Coffee House, and the Philadelphia Area Songwriters Alliance events. So, Jon, go ahead and take us out. Don't forget to unmute.
There we go. Thanks very much. I'm just playing around with a new organization on my screen, so I look like I'm actually looking at you. Yeah, so this is a ballad, kind of a composite of some encounters, and it happens to be connected to a street named Broadway as well. So. When we were young and the sky was new, we all danced even in the rain. Let me start that again. When we were young and the sky was new, we all danced even in the rain. Now I'm here at an empty station, the fading crash of the train. Just a guy on the corner of Hope and Nowhere, keeping the wind at my back. Stepping out into the downpour, I'm headed uptown in black. Well, I'm on my way, the avenue's jammed, I'll be there as quick as I can. Taxis splashing, couples jumping, wind tipping over the cans. Sure, I've got my contradictions, I'm pretty easy to spot. guy who's looking for a way to get between what is and what is not. Cold the clouds, blue the rain, old the love, true the pain, dark the sky, wide the way, long the night, far the day, and the lights up there, the elegant stairs. Sure, I remember what I missed, this unexpected invitation, the laughs, the food, and your kiss. Well, I thought I had to understand it, I couldn't bear to be so blue. It took me almost to forever, but you always knew, yeah, you always knew. Now I'm back down here on Broadway, the empty hour of 3, a car horn somewhere in the distance. Maybe now I'm free. You know, this one's going in the records. Someday crowds may swoon, but there's my life, it's waving at the corner. Now I just need a word with the moon. Yeah, I just need a word with the moon, and I will be all right pretty soon. That one.
Very cool.
Thank you. Thanks very
Very,
much.
very cool.
So this one. So when Joe Isaacs introduced me yesterday, he said, "How are you doing?" I said, "Terrible." And then I played this song about bad people, and then felt terrible about that. So today I had a nice day. So I'm going to play a nicer song, I hope. This one's called "You Had a Chance with Me." You had a chance with me. Our casual words more than they seem, but was it real or just a dream? Would our hearts whisper, "You have a chance with me"? Maybe this was the love that was, but old time did what old time does. Were we just tourists in the country of love? But how could we not fall in love? It wasn't just a guess, yet the years just sped away with never once a yes. For all the doubts that we held at bay, for all the words that we did not say, our hearts finally whispered, "You have a chance with me." But how could we not fall in love once we found each other? And yet the journey took so long before we could discover the place our hearts did care to stay and settle on our favorite way to bring that love in duty free and whisper, "You got a chance with me."
Oh yeah.
Beautiful and very, very jazzy.
Thanks
Love it.
very much. Thank you.
John, we're going to hand you over here to Mike. Talk a little bit, and
Very good.
we'll see you in a bit.
Thanks.
All right, John. I caught you. You're a wordsmith. Hey, can you talk to us a little bit? Let me point out in general for anybody else that I ask similar questions of. I think that one of the things that I've encountered is a few people here and there who are somewhat less practiced songwriters who have appreciated hearing people play here and hearing people asked about the question of your process. So can you describe, for example, what was the process in the lyric writing in particular for finding all those various word turns that you have in the first song there, like what is and is not, corner of open nowhere, you always knew, a word with the moon, those great little, you know, forward phrases that really make the song pop. How do you hunt those down?
It's you could say that you hunt them down. I would probably say more like I kind of wait for them to come to me. I guess I would say that my process usually starts with a single idea. In that one, it was the idea of the guy trying to make it through a rainy New York night to a party uptown, and so I was able to sketch that out pretty quickly, maybe a couple of hours. But then it took literally years for the stuff gradually. You know, I knew I needed a phrase, I needed a way to get him, you know, to the building and so on. And I just kind of waited for those. I would put it aside and come back. And I do that a lot. It takes me a while to write this stuff.
Yeah, well, hunters often have to wait for things. So your second song, your nicer song, Chance at Me, you came at that one, I think, probably not really with an intent necessarily to write a nicer song, a nicer lyric on that, or am I wrong on that?
No, and that's great that you could discern that. That's almost exactly what happened. The phrase "you had a chance with me," I think it came to me when I was having a disappointing night and kind of going, "Geez, you had a chance here, but," and so I scribbled that down and I thought, "Wait a second, this thing can go in different directions." And so then I thought I'd take it in a more upwards direction, and then it started to happen.
Yeah. And there's a line in there that I just love. Tourists in the country of love. I almost want to say now what you have to do is take that line, keep it in this song, and you can play this song, but you ought to write a whole song around that hook, tourists in the country of love. That's just too cool. You know.
I know just what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was hard to leave that alone. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, I hope it wasn't hard coming to play for us because you could tell we all sure enjoyed it. And we'll see you again, I'm soon. Sure.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Chris Steele, back to you, bud.
And I agree, John. You need to write an album all around that phrase. That's an album title just sitting there.
Thank you.
So coming up next, we've got Jason Baker joining us from Burlington, Vermont. I've got the chance to watch to listen to Jason a couple of times here. It's always good to have him back here. Jason likes to play at the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Burlington Coffee House and open mic at Pearl Street in Burlington on the first Friday of every month. Jason, you've got the microphone.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And I hope I didn't interrupt that interview. I think I was messing with my camera and accidentally unmuted. I apologize. Okay, here's a song that I released. I've been releasing a song a month for the last 4 months, so here's a song I released last month. It's called It's in Our Power. People always say, if you had a time machine, you could change all of history with just one little thing you do, or one little thing you don't. To decide if you will be born, or maybe if you won't. What if people thought that way about what they do now? Every single choice makes another choice somehow. Each choice shapes the way that the future will unfold. You can change the story before the story's told. It's in our power to see democracy is not undone. It's in our power to raise a ruckus and to beat the drums. It's in our power to come together and to act as one. It's in our power to change what the world becomes. It's in our power to change what the world becomes. Every time you choose to stand up for what's right, a tiny ripple of hope is sent into the night. Ripples become currents, and currents sweep down walls. A million acts of courage is how oppression falls. It's in our power to see democracy is not undone. It's in our power to raise a ruckus and to beat the drums. It's in our power to come together and to act as one. It's in our power to change what the world becomes. It's in our power to change what the world becomes. Now, when it seems that all our hope is gone, remember every night is always followed by a dawn. Before the morning we will suffer through a darkest night, but we'll make it through if we each bring the light. It's in our power to see democracy is not undone. It's in our power to raise a ruckus and to beat the drums. It's in our power to come together and to act as one. It's in our power to change what the world becomes. It's in our power to change what the world becomes. It's in our power. 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 It's in our power.
Yeah.
Jason, good stuff. Hey, listen, you're just a little bit hot on the line. If you could just maybe pull back from the microphone just an inch or so, that might actually be good.
The vocal, okay.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Okay, in the spirit of playing songs that I've been releasing, this one is released as of today. It's called Just Like a River. My liberation depends upon yours. To free everyone is what liberty's for. Freedom of body and freedom of mind. Leave no one out, leave no one behind. Even the fool who don't want to be free deserves a fair chance to learn how to be. Learn to be free and learn how to love it. Let go of anger and rise up above it. Just like a river must flow to the sea, each of us are yearning and long to be free. Free to live, free to love, and free to be. Just like a river that flows to the sea. Those who would dam or block off the flow are fighting human nature and do not seem to know that with every single little tick of the clock, the water will carve a way through the rock. And just like a river that flows to the sea, each of us are yearning and long to be free. Free to live, free to love, free to be, just like a river that flows to the sea. The dam it will break, the dam it will fall. You cannot hold liberty back after all. Freedom's inevitability is just like a river must flow to the sea. Just like a river must flow to the sea, each of us are yearning and long to be free. Free to live, free to love, and free to be. Just like a river that flows to the sea. Free to live, free to love, and free to be, just like a river that flows to the sea.
That was excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for that. Let me go ahead and hand you over to Mike, who's going to ask you a couple of questions here.
All right, Jason Baker, good to hear you again. I hit your website. There's a review there that just resonated with me. Timeless sounding, they're talking about a timeless sounding record that addresses age-old human problems with little more than a banjo and a human voice, or in this case, a 12-string and a human voice. That's good stuff. You sing a little bit like this guy I remember from my youth that used to play the banjo and sing folk songs, who was pretty famous. Well, his banjo had 7 frets on it, but I'll let you guess who that is.
Guy Carawan.
Yeah, no. Where do you make your choice as you have, the various things that come? I bet you're one of us who keeps a book where you put in the occasional hook that you put in. Where do you make the choice about the purpose and the focus of the song when you're writing?
I'm glad you asked that. I was having this conversation about this with Joe Jenks, and we were talking about a song I showed him, and he said, "Oh, you got the idea." And that's most of the song. Most of the song is the idea. The rest is all just in some way just editing. And I thought that was an interesting way to put it. And to some extent, yeah. I think you just know when you hit something because the flow just happens. That's really honestly, those 2 songs, for example, they came when I had as soon as I got the main title, or in both cases title hook, popped, when that crossed my path. In the case of the It's in Our Power, it was an Instagram feed thing, so, because I've been taking because of what I've been watching, I guess. This short about an animated Soviet film from 1972 called It's in Our Power popped up. And it was a beautiful little thing about people making paper cranes that then went and fought this giant warbird. It was a very interesting sort of stop motion animation thing.
It's one of the great short films out of
it's lovely.
Soviet period of all time. Yeah,
it's brilliant. Yeah, it's a brilliant. And I just caught a piece of it, and I'm like, okay, It's in Our Power is a great phrase because it's better than we can do it or we won't go back. There's all these kinds of things. And I started to think about how people work together to create things. And then I had other thoughts that had been bopping around in my head that just popped into there. So the idea of, people talk about science fiction and they talk, and, how you can go back in time and change things. And people rarely imagine what you could do right now then. Imagine what you can affect right now if you really want to, as opposed to just accidentally, bumping into something and changing history. What if you tried? And then Robert F. Kennedy's speech in there from South Africa about different coming together from a million different centers of these different waves that people make when they stand up and act with courage. That's in there, and so I just think it all kind of coalesced into a thought, which is, okay, we can actually come together and do things to make the world better every day, and we can do it now when we're in trouble, and that's where that came from. And just like a river, again, somebody just said that metaphor. We're like the water, and they're like a dam trying to stop us from being free. And I just thought, okay, yeah, and it isn't just like a river to carve through everything. So I'm using for my cover art for that song, which is like I said, released today, should be on all the streaming services. I'm using a picture of the old Yosemite Dam breach,
Mm.
back in the 70s. I seem to be referencing the 70s a lot. I'm not sure what that's about. But there you go. So those ideas pop in just as soon as you hear the phrase, and the rest of the words kind of pop, connect. And
Well, and obviously they're dragged in from other places that you've heard them, and it's a unifying principle, which is interesting with songs that you write, which are almost always about unifying principles for behavior and action. Almost all of your songs that I've heard have that at their core, that they're asking people to do something together.
that comes. What's funny? Two things about that. One is it's sort of a conscious choice as to the songs I'm putting out. I write a bunch of different songs. I write, and actually in December I released a very different kind of song, not political at all. I live in my dreams, and but at the same time, since I'm doing this, one of the things one of my song coaches, Dar Williams, said is like, well, don't leave out a call to action.
Yeah. Well, that's
and like she's like she goes through a song. She goes, okay, this is great. Where's the call to action? Where's the call to action?
Yeah. Yes, I've heard that phrase from that very same person.
Yep. Yeah, so she, these folks who know what they're doing is good. It's always good to listen to their advice because they, and take it to heart. But yeah, the song pops out or doesn't in many ways. Some songs you can work on and complete an idea. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I honestly feel the idea, a good idea is really the core of it, though. Really, everything else, as Joe said, is editing in many ways.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing those two songs to us. I look forward to hearing many more from you in the future. And I'm not actually going to give you back to Chris Steele. Chris Steele's going to move the screen a little bit.
Oh, man.
And then I'm going to stay up with you here. Okay. And I don't know that I need to be made large. I guess I haven't. All right. So this is, close to the midpoint here. And I want to know, did someone say free guitar? Everyone who is on this show and all the shows for Open Mic America, performers, volunteer hosts, staffers alike, you get a ticket. Dave's got a fishbowl, big old fishbowl, and you write your name down on a slip of paper. He puts it in your fishbowl, and then every year he draws, generally fairly early in December, one name out, and that person gets one of Capo Dave's Dandy hybrid guitars. Tom Cooney won a guitar just last December. So what is a Dandy hybrid? Well, I'm going to do a demonstration on that here shortly, but this is an acoustic guitar that's unique in its design. It has tremendous projection and a distinctive sound, and it has a higher volume level than flat top guitars. So if you're at an open mic, a circle jam, if you're on an open boxcar on a moving train, sitting around a campfire, playing in the bus station, a Dandy hybrid delivers. You can learn more about the Dandies and hear them played on the website dandyguitars, all one word, .com. And a link will be placed in the YouTube chat, and you'll find a link to the Dandy hybrids at the bottom of the openmicamerica.com homepage. And that being said, I'm going to let Chris introduce our next performer.
Yeah, you probably should let me do that. So everybody, I'd like you to welcome our next performer. This is Mike Simpson, who you've never heard of before. He's coming to us tonight from Saratoga, California, and Mike likes to play at Open Mic America, South Bay folks, and on the Music Matters Showcase. Mike, are you ready?
I am about so. Yeah, I think so. Let's see.
All right.
All right. So this, in point of fact, is a Dandy hybrid guitar. You can see the 0 fret and some of the other functional wonders of this thing, and notice that the soundboard doesn't sit on the top and damp the top the way many other soundboards do. And that's, if you go on the website, you can get even more discussion about that. But I'm going to play 2 different Dandy hybrids here tonight. One of the things that we do here at Open Mic America, one of Capo Dave, our esteemed founders, better ideas was that we play originals here, and that's what most people play. They'll play a couple of their originals. I have a tendency to use the other option some, and I'm going to do that tonight. Any song that has a publication date before 1925 is eligible because there's no copyright issues on it. And I just found out that this song, which I could have sworn was newer than that, but it's not. It's from 1924. It had to be you. It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around. Looks like somebody's trying to.
Original sound.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, you're right. I didn't turn it off. My computer hums, so I have to turn it off instead of being able to leave it on like most people. Okay, so that was terrible. Let's get back up my song sheet, and we'll start that again. It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found that somebody who could make me be true, could make me be blue, and even be glad just to be sad, thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be me, might never be cross or try to be boss, but they wouldn't do. Nobody else gives me the thrill. With all my faults, you love me still. It had to be you. Wonderful you, it had to be you. It had to be you. Oh yes, it had to be you. I wandered around, finally found the somebody who could make me be true, could make me be blue, and even be glad just to be sad, thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be me, might never be cross, try to be boss, but they wouldn't do. Nobody else gives me the thrill. With all my faults, you love me still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you.
Nice, Mike.
Whoa. There you go. Jones and Cowan, 1924. And let's check this here. All right. Yeah, this one, this was the other kind of song you can sing here. This is one of mine.
You have a background hiss.
Attempted assistance. All right. So here we have my newest song that I have written. A second raven joins the first. There are turkey vultures overhead, checking to see since I don't move quite right. The slow might come to dead. I'm slowing down, there's no denying. Not yet come to a full stop. Yes, I'm still trying, plodding on and hoping I can still get some things right while all around me it astounds me things are moving at the speed of life. Even the smallest things are harder now. Sure, the pills and the exercises help me plow through tasks and pleasures remaining just in sight, while all around me it surrounds me. Things are moving at the speed of light. The circling foragers come lower down. The ravens cock their heads, patient as the evening shadow, hoping I'll fall down dead. I'll book my cane and I make home at last. A waltz that's pretty steady, though it sure ain't fast. Shuffle 1, 2, 3 out of the scavenger sight, all around. It astounds me things are moving at the speed of light. All around me are moving, things are moving, things are moving at the speed of life. Not so much me, but there are things all around me. Yes, it astounds me, things are moving at the speed.
it's beautiful, Mike.
Mike, that was just absolutely gorgeous. I got a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
Okay, I don't mind.
All right. Well, first, I'm so used to you being that voice that comes into these shows, bringing these what I think of as heritage songs, of these things that are really kind of part of the legacy of just American songwriting tradition. And I guess you really are the unique voice for that within our group here. And I guess I wonder, what is it about those songs that draws you to them so much?
Well, we all know as songwriters that we have, and we've already talked about this with some people earlier today, we have a wide variety of things that come together to make us songwriters. And one of the ones that a lot of times you'll find on people's websites, they'll talk about their influences. My parents had a relatively vast collection of these. They were black and round, and you put them on a thing and you play it. It's like a CD but bigger, called records. And I used to take all of it, and they had all of the Broadway shows. They had the original cast albums for those things, and so that's a good entry point into the Great American Songbook. But I never left. I stayed in the Great American Songbook, and I really appreciate that music, and I write in that style as well. And nothing tonight, but there's that. And then there was, frankly, while everybody else was listening to the Beatles, I was listening to Paul Simon. I found the second song, of course, is more like that, So it's just that the influences come together. But again, the Great American Songbook, it's a thing to revere, to handle with care, and to let other people hear it, because you don't get to hear it as much anymore.
No, that's fair. And I was thinking, the Speed of Life is the song that you were just playing, right? Yeah, there's so much wisdom that is clearly within that lyric, and also, quite frankly, how you've presented it. So I think that bridge of being able to say something through the song, of being able to bring life lesson, how. This is really much more of a question of those covers that you do, but it kind of shows it in the songs that you write yourself. But how do you find your own voice within some of these songs that have been with us for so long and have this kind of enduring wisdom that come with them?
Well, I think I would be less than honest if I took credit for it. I have been very fortunate in having very fine teachers through the years. And I started off in the classical end of the world, and even when you're a voice soprano singing classical music, you have to generate something that will make you interesting and stand out a little bit. And so I would say I use the Rocks in the River method. I just play the songs a lot. And I think about what you're asking about a lot, and I try to remember great notions that I've heard from great instructors, like Nina Gerber's famous phrase is, she teaches people a lot. She says, I really loved those 4 beats where you didn't play anything, and things like that. I keep those things close to me, and I try to apply them as much as I can.
Well, it comes through in your art, absolutely.
Plus, you got to love the music.
Yeah, you do. You have to love it to actually be able to give it the reverence that it requires. Well, again, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and move on. We still have another 4 acts here that I want to make sure that we get in here. And with that, I'm going to call to the microphone Dan and Faith from Charlestown, New Hampshire. I wanted to make sure I got that right.
Thank you. Chris.
And they play at the Windsor, Vermont Open Mic at the Parish Center for the Arts in Westford, Massachusetts, and online at Joe Isaac's. You're going to get that name again a little bit later on. Music Matters Online and Open Mic America. So Dan and Faith, you're on.
Thanks, Chris.
I'll just do a quick start to this one. So we live in a part of New Hampshire that's right along the Connecticut River, which is the border to Vermont.
Dan, if I could, you're a little low in the volume. Is there any way that you could kind of bring up just slightly?
Well, I'll come in to talk because I'll be plenty loud when I'm singing. We live in a part of New Hampshire that's on the Connecticut River, On the other side of the river is Vermont, and this song is a true story. Took place just north of here on the other side of the river, so this is a true narrative. Born of fire, our neighbor Mount Ascutney, standing tall above the great river valley, a volcano went extinct long ago, weathered down to the mountain we know. Next to the mountain is the village of Ascutney, not incorporated, just a friendly place to be. For a century folks worked farms on this strand before the highway came and robbed their land. Most folks sold to the state with no real choice. No one would listen, the farmers had no voice. Just one refused to leave the herd he'd milked by hand, made clear this was where he'd make his stand. It was late at night, 1964. Romaine Tenney turned out the cows, nailed shut the doors, set fire to the barn, and then the house, an inferno the firefighters could not douse. News of the fire spread across the nation. One tree survived the mighty conflagration. By 2021, that old tree was done. Branches were cut down one by one. Where the tree once stood, now there's a plaque to remember the farmer, the one who fought back. Only the stump and flowers remain in memory of a farmer named Romaine. In memory of a farmer named Romaine.
Brilliant.
Love
Thank
that one,
you.
Dan.
So Romaine Tenney was a farmer who lived on a small farm with a herd of cows that he milked by hand, off-grid. When they were building I-91, they came for his land. I'll mute that out while I'm changing tuning here. And they offered him a little bit of money, and he said no. They offered him a little more money, he said no. They were coming to haul him away the next morning, ultimately, after they had taken everything. And he didn't leave. At 2 a.m, he turned the cows out of the barn. He torched the barn, tied his dog to a tree, went in the house with hammer and nails, nailed shut every door with himself inside, and torched the house. And it's a well-known story in our neighborhood.
And we actually played that at the Windsor open mic that Chris had mentioned, and we didn't know whether anybody in the area still knew the story. But the minute we started playing it, we started hearing people whispering, "Is he singing about Romaine Tenney? I bet he's singing about Romaine Tenney." The family is still in the area. We have a contact with the family now, and they now have a copy of the song. So.
Yep. So we're doing sad songs tonight.
Yeah. And this one, that one, the one about Romaine Tenney was actually a February album writing month song from 2023.
Yep.
This one is a much older song that I wrote, and 2011. Good Lord, 2011. It's been a while. We got a call from Nick Noble at WICN in Worcester, Mass. Telling us, "Congratulations, your song Deep Cold Sea just won the Portsmouth Maritime Folk Festival Songwriting Contest." And I looked at Dan and said,
I entered it
we
for her.
entered the Portsmouth Maritime Folk Festival Songwriting Contest. So we had to go back through and relearn the song because it was from an old album. But we decided we would put it back in our rotation.
Ready?
Yep.
Yeah, let me get my fingers working a little better.
I look to the east out over the ocean, the vast wide sea, the deep cold sea. I pray for a mast to pierce the horizon as I wait for my true love to come home to me. He sailed for the east for Stellwagen's bounty, the vast wide sea, the deep cold sea. I've been here alone for 3 nights and 40, waiting for my true love to come home to me. He follows the schools of herring and codfish, the vast wide sea, the deep cold sea. I wait here at home with cold bed and warm wish that soon my true love will come home to me. The storms rise up quick, they come up so wild. The vast wide sea, the deep cold sea. 1 minute nor'easter, the next minute mild, as I wait for my true love to come home to me. The seas in his blood, the sailing his birthright, the vast wide sea, the deep cold sea. While I watch alone and weep through the long nights, as I wait for my true love to come home to me, as I wait for my true love to come home to me.
Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. Dan and Faith, thank you so much for that. I'm going to hand you over to Mike here, who's going to have a couple questions for you.
Great.
Very good.
Right. So here you are. You are holding the line for duets in our thing. You're our I think our pretty much way the most regular duet performers here. I want you to answer all of my questions under the aegis of when I say, how do you do that? Or, how does that get done within the framework of the duet? How does it get done with 2 people? I know you have different tasks that different ones of the pair of you do on at different times on. So with that said, the first song is something that I have a quote that I know I'm not quite getting it right, but it's a quote from sitting in a cafe in Palo Alto with a good friend of mine and a person that she works with musically, and you might have heard of, named Joan Baez.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Carol McComb and Joan Baez were talking about stuff, and I was basically being a fly on the wall because I was about to go help print some stuff up for Carol's classes. Anyway, when you have a true story, the first thing about a true story is that it should be factual, which I presume yours is
It is.
hewing strongly to factualness. Okay, but then the songwriter's job is to make that fact become true emotionally and artistically. How do you guys address that together as a duet?
Well, I would say this is one of the songs that I sing and Faith can harmonize or whatever, but we are often doing interwoven harmonies. Neither of these songs was that. For Where Fire Once Burned, first I should mention we write separately.
Yeah.
We always write separately. And then we work through the songs and work up arrangements that make it work for a duo. So in this particular case, I already had the bit about Mount Ascutney because we can see it from our property. And I learned that it was a volcano before it was the mountain that it is now. And a friend dropped a note and said, "You should write something about Romaine Tenney." And I went and read the story and showed it to Faith, and I said, and actually, you were trying to write something about it as well.
Yeah, and when you said you were at it, I handed it off to you because I was not quite sure where to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is, coming up with the story is one thing, but also being able to perform it in such a way that people feel the emotions that you hope that they will feel is something else again. We had a brilliant voice teacher, Maria Ferrante, she's an opera singer, and so we learned not only singing from her but also performance, and she taught us some tricks that about how to draw an emotion out of an audience that kind of blew our minds.
Yeah, so that's really interesting help items for that, and that song, there's it cuts to the meat of it, and there's the point where just telling the story spoken for part of that verse just really punches it out, and just and then going into him setting the fire, and then backing away when it's like, okay, so the story actually made front page news around the country about this farmer, but that starts to get into the sadder part of the song, and it's like you just have to feel for this guy who just wanted to farm his land. And,
Yeah. All right. So the second song, Widow's Walk song is there. It doesn't matter if that one's about a single particular fact, because it's a truism. It's a thing that's real throughout, and you guys did a great job on that. And I think your explanation of how you work, which I'm going to summarize for those who are thinking about doing this thing, what they're saying that works for them, for Dan and Faith, if I got it correctly, is you could sort of say they each write the songs initially as one, and then they apply their craft as two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even for that one, when I wrote that originally, I wrote it as an a cappella. And when I first performed it, I performed it a cappella, and Dan came to me afterwards and said, I could put something on guitar with that would work. And that one took a little work, because what he was coming up with on the guitar when he first started doing it didn't work for me.
But
and we it took us a while to work through that.
And finding the second voicing of the D minor to use as a lift in that just completely opened up that song. I originally was playing it just first position, and I go all over the fretboard on that one, which I don't do as much. When I'm singing, I can't be all over the fretboard.
Yeah.
But when she's singing that and I'm just playing the guitar, I can work on that riff.
He can slide all over the place.
But
Yeah.
the line in that song that gets me more than any other is that he was sailing out to Stellwagen Bank, which is only like 10, 15 miles off of the Massachusetts, off of Gloucester. And the fact that he's been gone for
43 days.
For 43 days is like,
You know he's
it
not
really
coming back.
hits me at that
Yeah.
point. It's like, he ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I felt that same thing in there.
Yeah.
There
And
were
as
also,
you- As
I
you
always
said,
get
it's-
reminded with those kind of songs of the winds of November come calling, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty much. And as
Exactly.
you said, it could be any of the women who watch their menfolk go off to sea.
And given the number of names on the memorial in
Yeah.
Gloucester on the waterfront.
And the number of widows walks up on the houses along the waterfront there as well, and all up and down the coast. Yep.
And I want to point out that Dan and Faith were not originally scheduled to play tonight, but they answered the call when Dave asked him, and we had someone who was unfortunately unable to play, and so they came and filled in, and we thank you. Come back to us soon, and we will rejoice that we can hear you again. I'm going to turn you
Thanks.
back over to Chris
Thanks,
here.
Thank you. And yeah, again, thank you for being available on such late notice. And it was wonderful to have you join the show here. I think that people may have heard Joe Isaac's name thrown around a couple of times here so far tonight here. So why don't we actually hear from him? So next performer here is Joseph Isaacs. He is here from Columbia, Maryland. And Joe runs the Music Matters Showcase and, of course, also performs here at Open Mic America. Joe, over to you.
All right. We might not make it to the end, but there's a place where the river bends. I like to go there time and time again. And just let my mind be content. There's a spot along the way. 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 Might not make it to the top, even when the record drops. Still there's a place I like to stop and just think about the good I got. There's a place along the way. 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 Along the way. Along the way. Might not realize our dreams. Well, they might not turn out like they seem. Still there is an open mic where we can be what we're really like. There's a spot along the way. 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 Along the way. Along the way. we still have to deal. Even when things get real. Trying to calmly look at these feelings that I feel. Ask myself what they reveal. There's a spot along the way. There's a spot along the way, along the way, along the way. Might not make it to the end, but there's a place where the river bends. I like to go there time and time again, and just let my mind be content.
Nice,
Very
Joe.
nice.
Thank you guys. We try to be calm, try to play it cool, even when you're being unbelievably cruel. But it's just too much, it's just too much. The camelback's been broken, his heart's been crushed. It's just too much, too much, too much, too much, much too much, too much, too much, much too much, too much, too much, much too much, too much, too much. People just trying to live their lives, getting trapped beneath the ice. You went after children's health care. You went after science. You made truth your enemy. Your only goal, compliance. You put your name on everything, but your name will go down with the devils, and you'll never be king. 'Cause it's just too much, it's just too much. You're the one that keeps hitting, we're the ones going bust. It's much too much, too much, too much, too much, much too much, too much, too much, much too much, too much, too much. You said you believed in the Constitution. You said you were for small government. You said you'd rise up against tyranny. Is there any part of that you really meant? 'Cause if there is, and you love freedom true, then take off your brown shirt and put on your red, white, and blue, and stand with us and say, it's just too much, it's just too much. The camelback's been broken, his heart's been crushed. It's just too much, it's just too much. You're the one that keeps hitting, we're the one going bust. It's just much too much, too much, too much, much too much, too much, too much. It's just too much.
Damn.
Thank you.
Joseph,
I
that was
have some
fantastic. Let me hand
feelings.
you over to Mike and we can get into this in a little bit more depth.
Hi, Joseph.
Hey,
How you doing,
good
man?
to see you, Mike.
Yeah. So I have a little thing here that I'm gonna read to you, and then you can decide how to answer it.
Sure.
And it's in two parts. So I'll give you the second part later. I have noticed And I should say, I've played on Joseph's open mic, and he always opens it playing, and we sometimes play as many as 4 songs. So I've heard quite a few of Joseph's songs, and they range all over, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I have noticed that you very strongly draw from your daily living, and by which I mean both the events of your life and the feelings of your life, and your children, and you know, all that kind of stuff for your material. But at the same time, you're also tremendously imaginative. And I would like to know, as a songwriter, how do you splice those things?
Mm. You know, I'm the type of the gardener type. I think like Tom was saying about catching our dreams. I'm very much a believer in that. Ray Bradbury, I think, said catch the lightning. There's a writer named Natalie Goldberg who put out a book about writing poetry and novels. And her suggestion was to just write, like keep your pencil going and just keep, you know, don't think, don't edit. You could edit later, but to get your initial thoughts down, just let it flow. So I'm very much like that, and it's fun for me because I never know what I'm going to write. And then I'm like, oh, that's what I've been thinking about. Oh, that's what I've been feeling. It's not like the other way around. It's like the songs are telling me, you know. But I think the other aspect is that sometimes like I'll like kind of things will sort of flip by, like an idea. Like the idea of like in the first song of like sort of like life being like this big trip, right? And we're going on this trip and we have this destination in mind, and then we don't need to necessarily, it's not really about that destination. That's just sort of an excuse to go for a walk, you know? And like, so some things like that, it'll just like, there'll be a thought that flitters across my mind and I'll be like, okay, that's a song. But then because I've practiced letting go and practice getting out of my own way, I'm now getting better at being able to like sort of channel what I need to channel to sort of, okay, I've got this thought now I can go do this. And so, I mean, my suggestion to anybody is just write, and just let the spigot flow, you know, and eventually you'll get to a point where then you'll sort of, that'll be easier, you know.
And so I know something of what you're likely to say in the next answer is that it's the same, but it isn't the same. And so I want you to give it a moment's thought. What's your process for deriving your very idiosyncratic guitar style that you have?
So it's funny because I you know, playing a lot of alternate tunings, and lately, you know, a lot of alternate tunings have 3 notes in them, right? Like open G is D, B, and G. But lately I've been going down to 2 notes, and I don't know, I'm really liking that somehow. It's like, because it's then whatever you add for the 3rd note is going to make some sort of chord, right? And so I don't know, that's kind of freeing me up. But the other part of that is I'll play around on the guitar and I'll play instrumental stuff. I could do a whole set of instrumental music, and I could improvise instrumental music. And that's because I sit around playing on my guitar a lot. And then like I'll hit something on the guitar at a certain point, and something tells me there's a song there. And I don't know what that is. I just, something about the way, you know, if I go like this and it just, okay, something there's resonating in me, and I know there's a song. There, and I don't know what the rest of the song will be, but it just, and I think because
So your method is cast your net and listen, huh?
yeah, and you know, I think because like emotion and music are so intertwined that like when I hit on something that's stirring something in me emotionally, I know that's going to be something solid that I can build upon. It has to be quarterly solid, like it has to like feel like I could sing over it, but it's also got to be emotionally solid, like that I can feel. I could never make a BS song. That wouldn't be me, because it just has to resonate in a way that's just true. Like that's just how I am. I don't know if other people operate differently, and but for me, it just has to resonate at a true level. And I don't know why or what, but if it speaks to me, then I know there's something there I have to explore. And like I said, I don't always know what's going to come out. And that's fun for me, but I know there's something there that I need to explore. Maybe it's frustration, maybe it's anger, like in the second song, or maybe it's trying to find peace, like in the first song, or maybe something else. But
Well, thanks for, digging in there and sharing that stuff. That's great.
Mike, it's always a pleasure talking with you and hearing you play, and that goes for all these folks here. We have a special community, and I really appreciate Capo Dave and you, and it was great. It's great to meet Chris. I really enjoyed hearing your music, and I can't wait to hear the remaining artists. So thank you so much.
This is good stuff. Hey, and so grab me one of the Sundays in April.
You got it. We'll
right,
shoot me an email just to remind me, but yeah.
Okay. All right. And Chris, we're back to you.
Right. Thanks, Joe. And thank you very much, Mike. Next up is going to be Glenn Michelle, who just, we go ahead and we actually try and like really make a big deal about the open mics that people are playing at. We've got a special situation here because Glenn just moved to Elgin, Illinois. So I'd actually like to kind of open up the request here. If anybody knows of the open mics around Elgin, Illinois, Glenn's looking for ideas. So just please go ahead and put them up in the comments on the YouTube. And Glenn, you're on the mic.
Thank you. A lot of great acts this evening, enjoying it. This first song is called It's Our Pontiac. It's actually about the Pontiac division of General Motors closing, about a plant in Michigan closing and the folks who are impacted by it. It's just made up, but it could be true. It's called It's Our Pontiac. Detroit's a beautiful city, hell with anyone says. Went to work that morning, as I always have. I put the seats in Pontiacs, the past 20 years. I raised me a fine family, I drank a couple of beers. The big boss came in, said the plant's gonna close. Pontiac is shutting down as General Motors did with Old Al cried, he's raising a grandson. The mother died. Sally Ann cried too, she's on her own, husband left her dry. It's our Pontiac, party lasted 83 years. It's our Pontiac, an American affair. American affair. A 70 Ventura, love the Bonneville, Le Mans Grand Prix and GTO, these are classics still. I've seen a 67 Firebird, cost as much as a house. Catalina chieftain and Trans Am going down the 66 route. It's our Pontiac, never disappear. It's our Pontiac, red arrowhead, etched in tears. Etched in tears. Etched in tears.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So this next one, I usually don't write too many funny things. I'm all serious and classical guitar and stuff like that. But we had a prompt in my songwriting group called the Southern Songwriters, and it was to write about car warranty. You know, when you get those calls, hey, I want to sell you a car warranty and stuff. So it's a little bit of a rocker, but let's give it a try. It's called Car Warranty. Here's your car warranty. The man on the phone is telling me. Here's your car warranty. The man on the phone is telling me. Just give us your credit card. We'll take care of the rest. Just a small charge. We'll send you the best. If your car breaks down, see the greasy man in the t-shirt. If you wanna get jumped, don't lose your pencil skirt. Here's your car warranty. The man on the phone is telling me. Here's your car warranty. The man on the phone told me. Yes, we're calling from overseas. We're calling from the Philippines. Yes, we're calling from overseas. The boss is in Russia, so it seems. If your car breaks down, you see the greasy man in the t-shirt. If you need to get jumped, don't lose your pencil skirt. On the caller ID.
Glenn, love those riffs.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be back. I had some issues last time. I couldn't make the call a couple of months ago, but yes. A lot of great acts. Enjoy it very much.
Well, let me hand you over to Mike. He's going to get you into a little bit of a Q&A here.
Sure.
Right. Hey, I had never thought about writing a danceable rock and roll song about car warranties. I thank you for opening my eyes to a newer, brighter world. It's
yeah. I guess some of the silliest stuff maybe you can write a song about if you've nothing else to do.
True that. Sometimes they're very good. Here's a quote for you. People are scared of 12 strings for good reason. Mm-hmm. I continue to be in awe of your command of that extremely difficult instrument. Wonderful songs and presentation.
Thank you.
A quote on your website by Capo Dave Williams, founder of Open Mic America. So, and I think that's all true. So what I wanted to ask you about, two things. How long you've been writing, first off? 40 plus?
I would think. Yeah, 40.
Been there, done it. Okay. Can you talk about a long time writing practice that, as I look at your output, spans current events, love, and vampires? I mean,
Yeah, I guess it depends on phases I'm in, but I like to, maybe write about like news stories and things like that, things that are happening, or perhaps movies or something, or a book I've read, write something about that. That's where the vampire thing came in with the Anne Rice back in the late '80s, early '90s. So wrote a bunch of songs about vampires. I suppose I should write about zombies now. That's more popular. So
Or you can write a book called The Undead President.
that's right.
Yeah, all
Land
right.
dead, yes.
And given that you've been writing for a long time,
Mhm.
and given that I always like to have us address the fact that not every songwriter has written for the same amount of time, what would your advice be if someone handed you a small group of new songwriters? What would you be telling them? And I guess we all need to be new all the time.
Well, I
But
would say, early on, I tried to overcomplicate songs, because I'm really into progressive rock, like, the early Yes and King Crimson and Genesis, Pink Floyd. And I tried to overcompensate, I would say stay simple, just start with 3 or 4 chord things. And probably the most important thing is the rhythm, what you have going, the melody, as opposed to being complicated. So, but I still write classical guitar stuff like when I get a chance.
okay,
Yes, don't overcomplicate it. My first
don't
tour.
overcomplicate. All right. What's the place of theory in songwriting?
I'm sorry.
What's the place of music theory in songwriting to you?
The place of music theory.
Yeah. Is it something that you can just ignore, or is it something you really need to know? Or
No. Well, it's good. It's good to know the basics, I think. But if you know a few chords, I mean, look at how many #1 hit songs were written by people who really didn't know anything about music theory. They just knew a few chords on piano or guitar, and then just went with the feel, and so. But yeah, it's good to know, to learn as you go along.
and do you play in bands a lot?
Yes, I was in a band in North Carolina, and I'll try to get into one here in Illinois. Yeah, I play lead guitar as well, so, and bass.
Well, congratulations on making the move successfully, and I hope you find places to play that can appreciate what you do, because we sure do. And we will see you next time around. I'm going to hand you back over to Chris Steele right now.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
Great
very much,
talk.
Mike, and thanks, Glenn.
Yep.
So I'm going to bring up our final act of the evening. Catharine Beck is in Pasadena, California, and she likes to play, of course, on Open Mic America, but also at Music Matters and Cincinnati's Showcase, Songnet LA, Jeweled Universe Showcase, and Tarzana Showcase. Catharine, take it over.
Okay, hi. For some reason, my internet connection isn't the greatest, and it keeps going out. So we'll see how it goes. The first song I have is called "When the Smoke Clears," and I wrote it about a week after the Eaton Canyon fires, which are just about. Eaton Canyon is 2.5 miles north of me, and it was really, really scary. But anyway. Can you hear me okay? Okay, all right. When the smoke clears. When the smoke clears, so quiet outside, the birds stop singing, they flew off to hide. When the smoke clears and the damage is done, I hold my love in my arms, my dog's playing in the car. Don't know where we're going, but at least we're safe. And I pray all my friends get out of this place. First you cry, and then you cry some more. Then you pick up your heart and the pieces off the floor. When the smoke clears, I walk through the ruins where my house once stood. All the memories of love and picked up a piece of paper lying on the ground. A note from an old friend said he'd soon be around. When the smoke clears, we're gonna rebuild, build it better with our love and God's will. When the smoke clears, I have so many friends, so many friends I never knew I had. And I hope you won't forget how empathy works. Try all you can to help the people in need. When the smoke clears and the damage is done, I hold my love in my arms and I feel like I've won. When the smoke clears, when the smoke clears.
Very nice.
This one, it's well, it's just a story. I like to write a lot of stories, but then I'll start the storyline or get a storyline in my head, and then just kind of make up the rest. And it's called Stuck Out Here, and it's about a married couple with kids, and the husband is a stay-at-home dad. And all of a sudden, he decides he doesn't want to be a stay-at-home dad. So anyway, the whole story, you'll find out what happens at the end. But anyway, it's kind of fun. I remember our first date in your 57 truck. The headlights were crooked, looked like a piece of junk. You said it's a classic, give it half a try. I fell in love with you that night, and I really don't know why. 5 years flew by so fast, married with some kids. Trouble was boiling underneath that old car's lid. Thought you were happy with the life we had. I fell in love with you words were crooked, just like before. Then I heard the sound that old 57 gave us some kind of luck. That old 57 was some kind of truck.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Like
Catherine,
that.
thank you so much for that. I'm going to hand you over to here to Mike. He's got a couple questions for you.
Yes. And I'm trying to get my paper up here. All right. Catherine Beck, first time I've heard you. Very nice stuff. When the smoke clears, first off, very, very crisp, useful imagery to set everything up in that song. Very, very nice work there.
Thank you.
You let the emotion in that one be pretty raw and just kind of presented it. Is that kind of typical of your writing, do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What's I haven't interviewed you before, so I haven't had a chance to use my favorite question. What's your order of what comes to you, or does it vary? Are you lyrics first, melody first, chords, and image first? How does that fall out for your songwriting?
Okay. Most of the time, I get an idea from heard the news or everyday things that happen. But I'll write. Sometimes I'll write the chorus first, just the lyrics, and then I'll write the melody, and then work on a storyline. But it's kind of different every time. But mostly because since I think I'm stronger at lyrics than I am at the melody, I do that first. And I write pages and pages and pages, and then I start to edit.
And when you edit, what are you looking for?
Something that's heartfelt, and sometimes it moves the story along better imagery. When I write a song, I always have a video going in my head. I can see like a movie's going on, and I just try to figure out how to explain that better through lyrics.
Yeah, well, I could certainly see that with the second song. I was kind of seeing the movie myself, on that. And how much do you write? What's your frequency of production?
Well, I've been writing a while, but about 40 years or so. But I retired about 7 years ago, and then I just started doing it again, and it was fun. And I put out an album, I guess an album and a half, and then they're on YouTube and Spotify. But and got back into going to see people on their open mics and listening to new stuff, and it was just, it was fun. It was fun again.
All right. Well, it was fun for us to hear you play, and
thank you.
Come back around, and I'm going to turn you back over to Chris Steele.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. And thank you, everybody, for a fantastic evening here. I want to thank all of our performers, Tom Maynard, Jon Burrowes, Jason Baker, Dan and Faith, Joe Isaacs, Glenn Rochelle, and Catherine Beck, as well as my co-host and interviewer here and fellow performer, Mike Simpson, for leading us through all these fantastic conversations. I also really want to thank our founder, Capo Dave Williams, who is working tireless behind the scenes. Has not been on screen the way he normally is because of a couple of technical glitches here, but he really does go ahead and make all of this possible. Please go ahead and check out our website, openmicamerica.com, for links to the music of all of the OMA performers and find archives of all of our shows. If you like this show, please spread the word. Don't keep it a secret. You can even download and print your own posters from our website, hang them up somewhere where folks can see them. You can get a t-shirt through the openmicamerica.com website. And of course, please check out your local and virtual open mics. We've listed the ones where our performers play under the local open mics tab on the website. And it's very, very important. So just a lot of this is the art that makes our lives wonderful, and to be able to share the ideas that just kind of build community. Now, for our
Chris
show,
Steele, I'm going to bust in and thank you for hosting and for your very fine performances as well. We're all grateful.
well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And you'll be able to get to see actually a bunch of us a couple of other times here over the next couple of months here. Just so that you know, we're always here on the first and the third Sundays of every month. Next show is going to be in 2 weeks, Sunday, March 15th, same basic time, and you know how to find it here if you found it this time. So stay tuned for the next full lineup of performers. And for that, I really want to thank also our audience for having been with us. I was checking in a little bit on YouTube as we were going through, and there are definitely some folks that are throwing some comments up there. I am going to encourage the performers to go over there and take a look afterwards as well. So just for everybody here on the line, I'm going to go ahead and have you guys go ahead and mute and wave as we have Capo Dave go ahead and take us off here. And with that, good night, America, and we'll see you all really soon.
If you meet me at the corner of Russell and Albina, just about a block from Mississippi Avenue, I'll take you to a house where they hang carpets on the wall. And if we go there on a Sunday, there's a song I'll take you through.